morning. Our last topic for our synchronous meeting is on the lymphatic system. So, remember last time we said that there are two sister systems that are responsible for the transport and for the protection of the body. So, we discussed one last time, that's the cardiovascular system, and its sister system is the lymphatic system. Okay. So, any idea of what these cells are? The brown orange ones. Any idea what the cells are? It's not a picture of a meatball spaghetti, no? It's not. Pero parang katulad, 'di ba? So actually, okay, this spherical cells here are more or less they are the cytotoxic T cells, and they are attacking no during the time that the micrograph was taken, no, they were attacking it. It might be a cancer cell or a tumor cell or a virus infected cell or a transplanted cell. Okay, so this only shows how fierce our white blood cells are, especially our T cells, now in protecting us against foreign intruders. Okay. Okay, so the lymphatic system is also called the lymphoid system. And it's the system that enables us to distinguish self from non self. So when you say self, we are able to, or the cells are able to distinguish now the cells of the body itself. And when you say non self, the cells, now the white blood cells, are able to distinguish foreign intruders or foreign materials. Okay, so this is somewhat like our home alarm system, okay, telling us that there are no intruders no wanting to enter the premises. Okay, so it's said to be a highly specific system because this system is triggered and activated by antigens, especially the foreign antigens. Okay, and of course, no, the system functions in neutralizing and destroying, of course, these antigens. And other examples of antigens include viruses, bacteria, parasites, virus-infected cells, cells of transplanted organs, and of course, we have the cancer cells. Okay, that's why the lymphoid system is really working very hard to protect us, okay, from these pathogenic organisms or cells. Okay, another function is the lymph collection and transport. Excuse me. Okay, so we said last time that the fluid that circulates within the lymphatic vessels is called the lymph. And one function of the system is to collect lymph, okay, from to collect fluid now from the tissues and transport it within the vessels. So how do you differentiate the plasma of the blood from the tissue fluid or the interstitial fluid from the lymph? So actually, in terms of composition, they are roughly similar. Okay, the difference is in the location. So when the fluid is found in the blood, that's the plasma. Okay, and when the fluid is found in between the cells of the body tissue, so it's called tissue fluid or interstitial fluid. You say inter, again, it means in between. And once this interstitial fluid is absorbed by a lymphatic capillary, it becomes lymph. So basically, they're the same in terms of water composition, in terms of protein composition, nutrients, waste, ions, gases, even proteins. Now you have hormones. Of course, there is a difference in the relative concentrations or amount, but basically, the compositions of these three fluids are the same. Okay. So again, no, when the body tissue fluid is absorbed, uh, and when the fluid enters the lymphatic capillary, it's now called lymph. Okay, so lymph is transported via the lymphatic capillaries, going to lymphatic vessels, going to lymphatic ducts. That's why, again, the cardiovascular system, okay, and the lymphatic system, no, they're responsible for the transport of materials in the body. Okay, and the system does not only function in the transport of lymph, it's also very important in the transport of fats in the form of lipoprotein. So if you can still recall our discussion on the digestive system, so we said that absorption of nutrients takes place in the small intestines, and newly absorbed blood is very rich in nutrients, diba? So proteins and carbohydrates, they are absorbed by the blood capillary, whereas fats in the form of lipoproteins, you have the low density lipoproteins and the high density lipoproteins, they are absorbed by the lymphatic capillary. So in the intestines, we particularly call the lymphatic capillaries as lacteals. Okay, they are responsible for the digestion, for the absorption of digested fats or the free fatty acids or the lipoproteins. Okay, and they say, or it's natural, no, for or naturally, lymph is a colorless fluid, but right after a meal, okay, right after absorption of the free fatty acids, lymph, okay, found in the lacteals actually is colored it's like a creamy, no? Parang creamy white siya. So being creamy indicates the presence of a lot of free fatty acids or lipoproteins. So we call that creamy fluid as chyle. It's spelled as CHYME, no, chyle. It's different from chyme, as we've discussed in the digestive system. So it's called chyle, okay? CHYME, okay? Okay, of course, another function of the system is for the production, maintenance, and distribution of lymphocytes. So it shows you a scanning electron micrograph of a bone marrow, okay, showing you the developing white blood cells and the developing red blood cells. Okay, and of course, the bone marrow is a primary lymphoid organ because this is where blood cells are produced. Okay, and of course, defense. No, both the cardiovascular system and the lymphatic system are for defense. Ito, it shows you different types of cells protecting us. So these two are phagocytes. They are capable of recognizing and engulfing antigens like bacteria. The rod-shaped structures are actually bacteria. Now, these cells, yan, to, there are actually, it's either they are natural killer cells or they are cytotoxic T cells. Okay, they are lymphocytes. And again, they are very fierce in defending the body against intruders. Okay. Okay, what about the components of the system? So we have the lymphoid organs. Examples of lymphoid organs are, we have the thymus, we have the spleen, we have the bone marrow, we have the lymph nodes, and then we have the mouth, the mucosa-associated lymphatic tissues, okay, which include the tonsils, the Peyer's patches in the small intestines. So the dots here represent aggregations or accumulations or groupings of lymphocytes. And then uh, we have other aggregations in the appendix. That's why the appendix, no, we said, has no known digestive function, but it has a lymphatic function. Okay. And of course, you have the lymphatic vessels, and the fluid that flows within these lymphatic vessels is called the lymph. Okay. Okay. So let's try to see the transport of lymph now from the body tissues to the heart. Okay. So we said again that the lymphatic capillaries, they're able to drain drain lymph from the tissues of the body. No. And from the lymphatic capillaries, okay, you can see that um, there are lymphatic vessels, and the lymphatic vessels, they now enter and exit the lymph nodes. Later, you would see why. No? So from the lymph now travels to lymphatic vessels, and then the lymphatic vessels, they now fuse, forming larger lymphatic ducts. okay, which empty into the subclavian veins. So we have two lymphatic ducts. You have the right lymphatic duct, this one, okay, and the left lymphatic duct, this one, or the thoracic duct. And this illustration shows us the areas that are being drained by the right lymphatic duct and the left lymphatic duct, okay? So the right lymphatic duct, this one, okay, drains lymph from the right side of the head and face, neck, okay, right shoulder, right torso, and then right forearm. Okay, so after collecting the lymph, so lymph is emptied into the right subclavian vein. So when you say subclavian, it's below the clavicle, and it's very, very near and the precava of the heart. Okay, uh, you have here the blood vessel. Okay, and then the rest of the body, okay, the other parts are are drained by the larger left lymphatic duct or the thoracic duct, which empties lymph going into the left subclavian vein. Okay, so in the subclavian vein, there are still tributaries, no, that will be passed before lymph. Of course, the lymph node joins already the blood, and then the cycle continues, no. So there would be pulmonary circulation. So there would be oxygenation. And then again, okay, blood plus the fluid or plus the lymph now will be circulated again all throughout the body. Okay. So yeah, so that's the flow. That's why again, the two sister systems are very important in the circulation of materials. Okay. Now, in some persons who are producing more of the tissue fluid, and in some persons who cannot really drain enough fluid, okay, edema happens. So edema is the pamamanas in Filipino, no? And particularly this is called a pitting edema because once pressure is applied to the swollen area, an indentation or a pit persists. That's why it's called pitting edema. And this edema can be experienced by patients suffering from cardiovascular diseases, from systemic diseases. Some pregnant women also experience having edema. And because the area is also swollen, there is also a lot of pain. Okay? So, yan, no? Okay, so what about the lymphoid tissues and organs? So they are divided into two. You have the primary or the central. So when we say primary or central lymphoid organs, they are responsible for lymphocyte production and maturation. So we have the bone marrow and the thymus. Okay, so the bone marrow produces in adults, no, it produces all blood cells, and the B cells mature in the bone marrow, and the T cells mature in the thymus. Hence, they are again called primary or central lymphoid organs. Okay. Now, the secondary or the peripheral lymphoid organs now are where battle or fighting happens. Okay, it's where the lymphocytes and antigens interact to initiate an immune response. So examples, we have the spleen, we have the lymph nodes, and then we have the MUC. We have the mucosa-associated lymphatic tissues. You have the tonsils, the Peyer's patches, and the ones in the appendix. Okay. So again, the primary organs are the ones responsible for the production and maturation, and the secondary organ are the sites of war, the sites of fighting, okay, the sites of interaction between the lymphocytes and the antigens. Okay. Okay, so we've seen already the lymphatic organs. So first we have the bone marrow. So the bone marrow is said to be found in the medullary cavities or the marrow cavities of our bones. Okay, so there are two types of bone marrow. We have the red one and the yellow one. So if you examine the ends of long bones, okay, you have structures of the flat bones, the irregular bones, like halimbawa, you have the facial bones, the cranial bones, the clavicle, the shoulder blades, the scapulae, yun nga, scapulae or shoulder, the hip bone. So these are actually sources of bone marrow. The sternum, no, sternum in adults is the source of the bone marrow. And the red bone marrow is very important in hematopoiesis, or in the production of blood cells. Production of white blood cells, red blood cells, and white blood cells. What about the yellow bone marrow? The yellow bone marrow is found within the shaft of the bone, the main stem. So if you're fond of eating bulalo, you know this, no? They're saying na you have to get the utak. Okay, how come there would be utak or brain inside the shaft of the long bone? And nandito lang ang utak, diba? So it's actually made up of fats. That's why bulalo is masarap, no? It's tasty, it's very tasty because of the presence of fats, but of course it's very unhealthy. So refrain from eating much of that yellow bone marrow na talagang tabang-taba yan tsaka cholesterol. Okay? So going back, so the yellow bone marrow is of course for, um, di ba sabi natin, fats are the highest energy sources. So they store energy. Okay? So again, no, in terms of other functions, so phagocytosis of cellular debris or the generating cells. So remember, in the bone marrow, you have also the presence of neutrophils, diba, eosinophils, the macrophages, the monocytes. So they are also responsible for phagocytosis of, it says here, debris and degenerating cells, or old or worn out cells. That's why the bone marrow is also a very good source of iron. Now, especially when RBCs are being recycled, because recall that iron is found in the hemoglobin of the blood. And of course, it's also the site where B cells mature to become plasma cells. That's why it's a major organ of antibody production. No? Kaya nga, the healthier the bones, the healthier the bone marrow, the healthier the blood. So take care of your bones. They are not only for support, they are not only for protection, but the quality of our blood, no, and our antibodies depend on the bone marrow, okay, and the bones. Okay, so another primary lymphoid organ is the thymus, this one. Okay, so it says here that it's the first lymphoid organ to become functional during fetal development. But among all the organs, it's the heart that is the first functional organ. Okay, so it means as early as fetal development, no, the immune system is also developing. Okay, it's said to be bilobed in terms of color, in terms of weight. So sabi, it's pinkish, no, at birth, and it becomes yellowish, okay, as one ages, because of the replacement of the lymphoid tissue with fats. And it says here that it atrophies with age, meaning it diminishes in size with age. It can still, of course, function in lymphocyte production, but of course, as the size diminishes, less and less of the lymphocytes will be allowed to mature in the thymus. No, that's why older people become immunocompromised. Humihina na yung kanilang immune system. Kasi kukonti na lang din yung lymphocytes na pwedeng mag-mature, no, sa loob ng thymus nila. Okay? Because again, the thymus is very important because of the proliferation and maturation of the lymphocytes. So ito 'yon, no? So the thymus is very important in our immunity because it's where the T cells, no, the T cells are educated. They are educated, sorry for the mosquito. They are educated, no, and they graduate, they really study, they would have to pass all their examinations before they become full-fledged soldiers of the body. But the sad thing is, only 1 to 3% of the T cells survive their education. So if you have 10 aspiring T cells, only 1 to 3 will survive. The rest would die. Okay? So like you students, no, who would want to go to a university, okay, knowing that if you're going to fail your exams, you're going to be killed, okay, by the university? Wala sa ating ganyan, di ba? So if you're going to fail your exam, you just have to do better, no? The next time that you take the examinations. But for the T cells, that's not the case, no? When they fail the exam, when they become autoimmune, they will be killed by the white blood cells. Okay? Because why? No, why is the education very stringent or very strict in the thymus? Because the T cells would have to learn, no, how to determine or distinguish self from non-self and how to act upon them. Okay? Of course, no, it's also the thymus also functions in the proliferation of clones of mature naive T cells to supply the circulation. So when you say mature naive T cells, mature, so they belong to the 1 to 3%, no, which graduated, which finished their thymic education. It means they are fully capable of functioning. But when you say naive, it means inexperienced. They haven't fought a battle yet. They haven't fought an antigen or they haven't fought a virus yet. No? Wala pa. Ready na sila, pero wala pang experience. Okay? And of course, the thymus is important in the secretion of a hormone, that's thymosin, that regulates T cell maturation, proliferation, and function within the thymus. Okay? So ito lang, it's a brief, it's a simple illustration showing you how T cells are being educated in the thymus. So these are the teachers or the professors. No? So the T cell students, they arrive within the thymus via the blood vessels. So the T cells are represented by the white circles. Of course, no, they will be educated by different teachers. Don't worry, when you have your immunology, you're going to discuss the details. Ito lang, it's an overview of what happens within the thymus. No? So they are educated by their teachers. After education, okay, they would have to take the examinations. So the first teacher would present self-MHCs and they should be able to recognize them. Okay, they should be able to recognize them, but they should not be able to react to them. Okay, so those will pass, will eventually be educated further, but those who will not pass, those that cannot detect self-MHCs or those that can detect self-MHCs or yung major histocompatibility, they are antigens. Okay, so those that can detect MHCs, okay, but react to the same MHCs, those that cannot detect, so they would have to be killed, okay, by the macrophages inside. So, di ba, pagbaksak sila sa exam, walang repeat, no? Pero deads agad sila, so they will be killed instantly. So, again, no, those who would pass the first set of examinations will become educated again. This time, they will be presented with self-MHCs and autoantigens. So, autoantigens are the antigens that are produced now by the cells to be utilized also by the body. And these are proteins. Like you have in the discussion later, the complement proteins and the interferons, they are examples of autoantigens. Okay? So again, the lymphocyte should be able to detect them, should not react to them. And again, those lymphocytes that cannot detect them, so again they fail and they will again be killed by macrophages. No? Now those which passed the examinations, they return to the circulation. So that's the 1 to 3%. No? That's the 1 to 3% mature but naive T lymphocytes. And they are now ready to function. And later you would know the details of their functions. Okay? So again, that's the very important role of our thymus. No? Because the thymus plays a very important role in the development of a person's immunity. Now, by educating by educating, no, when you say educating, this is the site of maturation of the T lymphocytes. Okay? Okay, so what about the secondary lymphoid organs? So first we have the lymph nodes. Ito. So what do we call the lymph nodes in Filipino or in Tagalog? Anong tawag natin sa kanila?
Kulani po.
Okay, kulane, no? Tawag natin sa kanila mga kulane. And in terms of function, they are said to be the inline biological filters. So they filter lymph, and you know that lymph can contain microorganisms, okay? And they are named after their location. Like for example, those at the neck part, we call them cervical lymph nodes. Those in the armpit are called axillary lymph nodes. Okay, those in the abdomen, they are called abdominal lymph nodes. Sa singit, no, they are called the inguinal lymph nodes. And you have others here. May femoral, may popliteal, etc., etc. Okay? And how would the lymph nodes tell you that you have a certain inflammation? What happens, like for example, what happens if you have colds or if you have tonsillitis? What happens if you have an injury? Sa halimbawa, you have pus at the leg part. So how would you know? How would the lymph nodes tell you that you have an inflammation? They usually, kasi nga they are inline biological filters, what happens to them when they fight infections? Kasi sabi natin, lymph nodes are secondary lymphoid tissues. No? It's where battle happens. Kasi ito, sabi natin, di ba, lymph can carry microorganisms, partially digested microorganisms, antigens, and so on and so forth, diba? So after getting the tissue fluid, so lymph now is filtered within the lymph node. So lymph enters the afferent lymphatic vessels, and then inside there is war. So ayan, no? You have a lot of macrophages and a lot of reticular cells, and a lot of lymphocytes. So if the lymph carries with it bacteria, viruses, fragments of antigens, etc., etc., so they will be killed, they will be engulfed, they will be eaten by the cells inside the lymph node. And what happens to the lymph node? It what? It now? Totoo ba yon na, naku, may sipon ako, magkakakulani ako? Saka ka lang magkakakulani pag may sipon or may tonsillitis? Pag wala kang sipon, walang tonsillitis, nawawala rin ng kulani. Ganun ba yon? Can somebody please answer? What happens? So during an inflammation, if you have really severe inflammation, what happens to the lymph nodes? They become swollen. So namamaga. Na? So that's the time that you can palpate your lymph nodes. It's also the reason why when you have your annual physical examinations, diba, the medical doctor would palpate the cervical area, okay, behind the ear, dito. No, it's to check if there are swollen lymph nodes, because if there are, it means you have a certain type of inflammation. Like if you have colds, if you have tonsillitis, if you have an injury in the head part, usually which lymph nodes would get swollen? They are the cervical lymph nodes. Okay? May sugat sa kamay. Okay, may mga pus, may nana. So ano yung nagsuswell na lymph nodes? Yung nasa kilikili, yung axillary. May sugat sa paa, may sugat sa tuhod. Ano yung nagsuswell? Usually yung nasa inguinal o nasa singit, no? So the location of the lymph node, the location of the swollen lymph nodes would tell you the possible areas of inflammation or infection. Okay? So yan, so that's why the lymph nodes are very, very important. Okay. So again, no, the lymph nodes filter lymph. So lymph can contain whole antigens or antigens presented by APCs, which we are about to which will be discussed later, and then portions of partially destroyed microorganisms. Okay, it's also a very important site, okay, for or site of lymphocyte proliferation. Ito, and as such, it's also a site of transformation of B cells to plasma cells. That's why lymph nodes are also very important sites of antibody production. Okay? So the bone marrow produces antibodies. Okay, the lymph nodes also produces. No, they are sites of production of antibodies. Okay. So next we have the spleen. So the spleen is said to be the largest lymphoid organ. And if you can still recall our discussion of the cardiovascular system, we said that the vertebrates exhibit a closed type of circulation in which blood remains or circulates within a completely enclosed system of vessels. So I said that time that there is a cheat organ which somehow makes the circulation somewhat open. And this is the spleen. Na? So when blood enters the spleen, you can see that the vessels, no, they have a lot of spaces or pores. So it means blood cells can actually get out from the capillaries going inside the framework of the spleen. Okay, so this is somehow the open part of the circulation. Okay, because what happens? So worn out RBCs, no, they change their shape. Remember, the shape is biconcave. So if the RBCs are worn out, no, if they are degenerating, okay, they are now recycled in the spleen. That's why the spleen is also called the graveyard, no, for the RBCs. That's why the spleen is also very rich in iron. No? It's very important in the recycling and the degradation and then recycling of RBCs. Now, for those RBCs with normal shapes, they go back to the circulation. So they go out of the spleen. Okay? And ito, you have here, meron pa ba ako nakalimutan? Wala na, no? So again, main functions, no? You have phagocytosis of bacteria and worn out RBCs. Okay, again, in terms of its function in relation to immunity, it's also one major organ for a major organ for antibody production because it's also the site where B cells mature to become plasma cells. Okay. It also stores and releases blood in times of demand, such as during hemorrhage. So it's an emergency source of blood, no, for those people suffering from bleeding. And during fetal development, it also participates in blood cell formation. So uh, when we were fetus, no, developing as a fetus, so there are two tissues that are forming our blood. So you have the bone marrow and the spleen. Pero pag adult, it's solely the work of the bone marrow, no, hemopoiesis or hematopoiesis. Okay. So it shows you, it says here, a photomicrograph of 5 spleen macrophages. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in active phagocytosis of erythrocytes. So that's why it's very important in the degradation and recycling of RBCs and also supplying iron to the body. Okay, what about the mouth? You have the mucosa-associated lymphoid tissue or the mouth. So when you say mucosa, a mucosa or a mucous membrane is a membrane that lines body cavities with openings to the outside. Like an example, our nose, our gut, from the mouth to the anus. So there is an opening to the outside. So it's lined with a mucosa. And the mucosa is provided with lymphoid aggregations or lymphoid tissues. So we have the tonsils, we have the Peyer's patches in the small intestines, and then we have the lymphoid aggregations in the appendix. So these are actually cross sections, no, of the small intestine and the appendix. The dark purple color indicates lymphocyte proliferation. So dyan sila nagugrupo-grupo. Madami sila dyan. No? And what's the purpose of this mouth? They are said to be strategically located in order to protect us from pathogens that are carried by air and food and body fluid. So anything that enters the body. No? Like for example, the tonsils are strategically located in the oral cavity. So if you open your mouth, no, the sides, no, at the sides, you have here the palatine tonsils. This is not a tonsil. It's the uvula, which is an extension of the soft palate, which now separates breathing and swallowing. So inside our nose, we also have there tonsils. Now you have the pharyngeal tonsils. So the tonsils are strategically placed in order to filter food and air, now as it enters the system. Yung pharyngeal tonsils natin, they are strategically positioned to filter air that enters into the system. That's why if you're exposed to smoke, to pollution, to dirty air, just wait for some time, and okay, in most cases the tonsils will be inflamed. Okay, so yeah, no, and inflammation is indicated by redness, by swelling. If the inflammation is really severe, it may be accompanied by pain, and you have the development of tonsilloles. So these are the tonsillar stones. Tonsilloles are actually calcified materials made up of the antigens, no, the dead white blood cells, other secretions from the cells. Yan, no? So may mga puti-puti sa lalamunan. So ibig sabihin, meron diyang battle, may labanan, no? Andyan pa yung mga microorganisms, especially bacteria. Okay? And sabi, no, if the tonsils get inflamed very frequently during the year or during the month, it's better, or it would be safer for the tonsils to be removed, because frequent inflammation can cause a higher risk of infection. It can spread the infection. It can cause rheumatic heart disease pa, no? So yan. So you also take care of your tonsils. Yes, question.
Is it the same as yung sa tinatawag mong singaw?
Iba pa yon. Ang singaw, sa oral cavity yun eh, no? So halimbawa sa mga gum area, sa lip area, but it's also caused by microorganisms. Okay?
Okay po.
Yun. Iba pa yan, doon talaga siya sa may throat mo. Okay, yan. Ito yun eh, no? Sa throat, sa sides. So, namamaga yun, namumula. Tapos pag severe yan, meron mga tonsilloles or mga tonsillar stones. Okay? Now, kaya it's very important, no? Oral hygiene is very important. So, don't forget to brush your teeth, clean your mouth, gargle, no, with yung mga mouthwash. Okay? Basta, and also take care of your health. Kasi, pag ganito din, it means you are somewhat immunocompromised, no? Medyo mahina rin ang system, medyo mahina ang katawan. Okay? So yun, no? So if the tonsils really get inflamed frequently, it's better to have a tonsillectomy. That's the procedure, no, that removes the tonsils. Okay? Yeah. Okay, we go now to the defenses. We have the specific and the non-specific defenses. So when you say non-specific defenses, so these defenses are for general body protection. They are not targeting a particular organism. Okay, there is no memory. No, the cells don't remember. And the cells do not proliferate, okay, when performing these defenses. So take note of those, kasi those are some criteria in considering if defenses are specific. Okay? So examples of non-specific defenses are, of course, the barriers to entry. You have the different mechanical barriers. You have the skin together with the hairs. Diba? They are for protection, together with our nails, together with the fur in animals, no, their hooves. So yeah, no. Basta yung, if you can recall the integumentary system and the derivatives, so they are mechanical barriers. Okay? So the skin is said to be a very important protective organ because it's our first line of defense. It wards off microorganisms. And it's also the reason why before injecting a medication or a vaccine, okay, you have to sterilize the skin. Pinapahida niya ng alcohol. No, it's because it's a port, it could be a route of entry. It's a route of entry for the organisms. Okay? That's why patients who suffered from burns, may mga second degree, third degree burns, they are really kept inside ICUs and they are isolated, no? Because their body is open. Tanggal ang balat no? If you can recall, the outermost layer of the skin is the stratum corneum, which is made up of layers and layers of dead cells, cornified cells, and they are for our protection. No, it's our shield. Kaya sinasabi, you have to really take care of your skin. No? Yung mga nasa ICU ulit, na bawal lang dalaw, di ba? That the visitors would have to be very clean. They would have to wear special suits in order for them to visit their patients. Again, because the patient could suffer from infection immediately kasi nga open ang balat nila. No? So the mucous membranes also, mucous membranes, they are usually covered with mucus. And mucus is able to trap particles, dust, antigens, including in the protection is the cilia, cilia that lines the respiratory tract. So the cilia is also called, the cilia are covered with mucus. So after some time, they would now beat and they would now sweep mucus with the trapped particles going to our throat. So sometimes you feel something inside your throat. So ito na yung mucus na inilalabas natin. Okay? So it's either we spit it out or we swallow it. Okay? So we also have our normal organ flora. Like in the large intestine, normally we have Escherichia coli for protection. In females, in the vagina, we usually have lactobacilli. And lactobacilli maintains the slightly acidic pH of the vagina, mga pH of 4 to 5. That's why it's not really encouraged for women to use soaps because soaps are basic. They can damage the genital area. They can also cause imbalance to the normal flora because the normal flora also protects the vagina from bacterial infection. Okay? So we have different antimicrobial molecules. We have oil from sebaceous gland. It also fights off bacteria and other pathogenic organisms. Okay, but sabi nga if the sebaceous glands are very active, you should also wash your face kasi oil is also nutritive to bacteria. So kaya nagkakaroon ng pimples, Gustong-gusto ng Staphylococcus aureus yung mga excess oil na rin na yan. Okay? And then lysozymes secreted by the mucous membrane in relation to the protection of accorded by the mucosa. And of course, the stomach's acidic pH. So it's very, very acidic, And remember, we take in a lot of food and the food might not be safe. So if there are bacteria and other organisms in the food that we are eating, so they will be digested by the very strong acidic pH of the stomach. Okay, yung gastric juice natin. Okay. Now, another example of a non-specific defense is an infection or inflammation. So it shows you here what happens during an inflammation. And it says here that when the body experiences a certain inflammation, it's trying to fight off an infection. So it's natural for us, Kung meron tayong mga bisitang hindi ka nais-nais, nagkakaroon talaga tayo ng inflammation or infection. And we can see here the role of phagocytes, okay? So what happens during an inflammatory response? So if you can recall our discussion on the cardiovascular system, particularly on blood clotting, so we said that the damaged tissue cells and the mast cells, they're able to release histamine. Histamine is a vasodilator. It dilates blood vessels so that more blood goes to the area. Okay, more blood, more tissue, more body fluids go to the area. That's why these are the telltale signs of inflammation. There is redness because of accumulation of blood and tissue fluid. There is redness. Okay, the swollen area is hot. Okay, there is swelling, of course, because there's an increase in the body fluid, and there is pain. So seepage of water, plasma, proteins, no, stimulates the pain receptors. So there is pain. Kaya talagang yung mga namamaga, yung may inflammation, masakit na. Okay. And what's the purpose of increasing blood flow through the area? It's actually to also increase the number of soldiers in the area, to increase the number of white blood cells in the area so that they can detect and they can fight off the infection or the infectious agent. In this case, we have here bacteria. No? The pathogen is a bacteria or is a bacterium. So the macrophages, no, are there, the dendritic cells are there in order to phagocytose, in order to eat, in order to digest this bacteria. Okay? So the macrophages and the dendritic cells, they don't only digest organisms, they also produce and secrete chemical signals, no, protein chemical signals. They are called cytokines. From the term cyto, meaning cell, kines, kineo, kinein, meaning movement. So these cytokines actually attract other white blood cells to the site of infection. Parang ito yung mga radyo or yung message. Oh, we need backup. Parang gano'n, no? So ito na yung backup, pupunta na doon. Okay? And take note that the white blood cells, no, are amorphous in terms of shape. They are amorphous, meaning they have no regular shape. They have irregular shapes, and they are amoeboid. Now they can change their shape. They can squeeze through in between cells so that they can go out of the blood vessel. They can go to the area of inflammation or to the tissue proper. Okay? So yan. So it's actually, an inflammation is actually a war, no, between the antigen and our soldiers of the body. Okay? And in some cases where the blood vessels are damaged, so again, you have the work of the platelets. Okay, they are responsible for blood clotting. Okay? And usually, if this inflammation is severe, it's usually accompanied by a fever. No? And they say that moderate fevers of a short duration are actually beneficial to the body. Why? No? Because fever inhibits growth of some microorganisms. So certain microorganisms need a particular temperature for them to multiply. So if there is an increased body temperature, they are prevented from multiplying. Promotes accelerated tissue repair, facilitates phagocytosis of pathogens, stimulates immune cells to divide rapidly, and increase production of viral fighting interferons, which will be discussed later. Okay, so if you're watching the anime Cells at Work, you should watch that because it's a function of the lymphatic system. Okay, now it's the reason why we have to observe the fever for how many days before we take our patient to the hospital or to the clinic. What's the waiting time? O how long is the waiting time? Ilang araw? First day ba dadalhin agad sa ospital?
3 days, ma'am.
Oh, usually 3 days, no? Yun yung waiting time. Observe muna first day, observe second day. Pag third day at meron pa rin, kailangan nang dalhin sa ospital or sa clinic. It means that the inflammation is not simple. No, it means that there could be a severe inflammation. So medical attention is really needed.
Ma'am,
Okay? Yes.
does it also affect the severity of the infection dun sa ano po, yung temperature po?
What do you mean?
Pag
Oo. Pag mataas, mas maano yung infection. Sabihin maraming organisms na nilalabanan ang katawan. Kaya dire-diretso ang inflammation. Kaya lang binibigyan natin syempre ng ibuprofen o paracetamol to ease the pain, and those substances actually counter the effects of the inflammatory chemicals eh. Itinutulungan lang natin ang katawan. Kasi ang mataas na fever, delikado yun sa katawan. Kasi some people, they undergo convulsions. So, yun ang iniiwasan naman. Kaya sa bahay, di ba, we are doing everything. Pag mataas ang fever, you have to subject your siblings, no, to baths. Kailangan liguan. Pag sobrang taas ang yung ibang matatanda kasi pag may lagnat, hindi pwedeng paliguan. No? Dapat pag sobrang taas ang lagnat, papaliguan para bumaba yung temperature. Okay? Kaya laging pinapainom din sila ng gamot. But still, it means that there is a persistent inflammation in the body. Kaya nga, we have to observe them. But now, because of the fear of dengue, diba? Usually, pag first day pa lang, some parents, they take their children to hospitals in the fear of dengue. Kasi minsan the dengue can already be diagnosed during the first day in order to prevent further decrease in the number of platelets naman. So yun naman. So sabi nga nila, better safe than sorry. Okay? But inflammations are normal. It means the body is fighting inflammation. And most of the time, it's accompanied by fever. Okay? Ano pa? Pag may inflammation, usually, halimbawa, a very simple example is having pimples, yung may malalaking acne, di ba? So what forms? Usually what forms during an inflammation? Yung whitish material, nana. No? We call that pus. Diba? Because pus is made up of course, the body fluid, the dead pathogens, cellular debris, if macrophages, if other phagocytes eat these pathogens, they also die in the process. Kaya sabi nga natin, they are fallen heroes kasi after they function, they die. And the pus is also made up of course, living pathogens and living white blood cells. Kaya nga sabi, you don't prick your pimple, o kaya after pricking your pimple, the area should be sanitized in order to prevent the further spread of the pathogen. Okay? Basta kailangan laging malinis ang mukha, ang kamay. Baka ang dumi-dumi ng kamay nyo, hawak kayo ng hawak sa mukha nyo. Lalo na yun, no? At saka, be careful kasi when you prick a pimple, it becomes an open wound and you are susceptible to further inflammation. That's why you have to really clean the area and place antibacteria. No? Yung mga ointment. O kaya kung meron kayong maliliit na pimples, lagyan nyo na siya ng antibacterial ointment. Okay? So, yan. So, ibig sabihin, the larger the pimple, the more pus, the more microorganisms are present there. Okay? So, yan. No? So, those are simple indications how our bodies are protecting us. Okay? Now, what about the role of phagocytes? Phagocytes and other cells. So, the macrophages and the dendritic cells, okay, they don't only eat a variety of substances or pathogens. They don't only release cytokines, but if the infection is severe, the macrophages, they now again go back to the circulation. They go to body tissues and then they insert themselves into lymphatic vessels and they go to the secondary lymphoid organs. Okay? They go to the spleen, they go to the lymph nodes, they go to the mouth, and they now activate other cells. So the first cells that are activated are the natural killer cells or the NK cells. NK cells are actually big granular lymphocytes. So you have there the granules, no? So once activated by these dendritic cells and macrophages, okay, the NK cells, they now roam the body. They patrol the body, okay, in search of cells or target cells. So halimbawa ito, no? So why is it called a natural killer cell? Because it releases its proteins. Okay, proteins can be in the form of granzymes, telling the cell to undergo apoptosis or programmed cell death, or it can be in the form of these are complement proteins, yung perforin. So from the term perforin, they now poke holes, binubutas nila yung cell membrane ng target cell, causing necrosis or death. So walang ligtas, no? So the target cell experiences necrosis and programmed cell death. So at the end, parehong death ang kanilang result, no? Okay. Now for other non-specific defenses, these are the protective proteins. Remember earlier yung autoantigens? I mentioned complement and interferon. So these are the autoantigens. They are produced by the body. No? Kaya autoantigens. So first we have the complement proteins. So why are they called complement proteins? Like for example, I like your lipstick. It complements your makeup. I like your hairstyle, it complements your overall look. Diba? I like your tie, it complements your suit. So, pag sinabing complement, it actually what? A complement enhances or improves the function of the immune system. Okay, how? Let's try to say, so these are different examples of complements. No? So, a complement can bind to a mast cell, stimulating it to release more inflammatory chemicals like histamine and heparin, thereby enhancing the function of the immune system. Okay? Another example, you have here complement proteins, okay, enabling a macrophage or a neutrophil, okay, to actually detect antibody-coded pathogens. In this example, you have a bacterium which is coated with antibodies. Okay, and this cell, or this macrophage, is able to detect this antibody-coated bacterium via an example of a complement protein. So this ensures that the bacterium will be eaten by the macrophage, again, improving or enhancing the function of the system. Okay? Another, ito, yung kanina, yung perforins being secreted by the NK cells, diba? So the perforins, they form a membrane attack complex, poking holes and causing the pathogen to undergo necrosis or death. Okay? So kaya tinatawag silang complement because they enhance, they improve the functions of the immune system. Okay? Another protective proteins, we have the interferons. Okay? So the interferons are produced and secreted by virus-infected cells. So before a cell dies, okay, it helps other healthy cells by interferon priming. So it means the infected cell produces proteins, okay, that now binds to healthy cells, okay, telling the healthy cells na there is a virus, you have to protect yourselves. Okay? So the cells now, they produce proteins, okay, protecting them from the virus. Kaya it's called interferon priming, no? In order for the healthy cells to be protected from the virus that killed this particular cell. Okay? So when the healthy cell already produced its antiviral molecule, so even if it is attacked by the virus, it will not be infected anymore. Kaya it's called interferons, no? Because they interfere with viral replication. Okay? Ang galing na mga cells natin sa katawan, ano? Now, for the last topic, we have the specific defenses. Okay, so we said earlier that the non-specific defenses are for general body protection. Okay, they don't target a particular cell. Okay, and these are the three requirements that must be satisfied, no, for us to say that the defenses are specific. So first, the immune system, okay, especially, no, it's the role of the B and the T cells, no? The immune system must recognize an antigen. It could be a foreign antigen or it could be autoantigens. Okay, so after recognition, the immune system must be able to respond, okay, to the particular antigen to protect the body. And third, the immune system should remember. So 3 R's. Okay, recognize, respond, and remember. Okay? And again, there are specific targets, no? And these are actually the functions of the B and the T cells. Okay? So yun, no? So let's try to know our B cells and T cells more because we really have to be very thankful to them. Okay? So the B cells and the T cells have their antigen receptors. A B cell has a BCR or a B cell receptor, and a T cell has a TCR or a T cell receptor. Okay? And it says here that each lymphocyte has receptors for only one type of antigen. Ma'am, we have so many viruses. Okay, we have so many pathogenic cells. So how would the B and the T cell be able to recognize them? Okay, or do we have enough of these B and the T cells to recognize them? Yes, no? Because it says here, diversification happens during maturation, that there are specific B and or T cells for any possible antigen people are likely to encounter during a lifetime. Meaning, no, even if the antigen is not yet here, we already have B or T cells ready to recognize it. Okay? Like for example, it's only in 2019 that we have the coronavirus 19, diba? Because it's the only time that a T cell or a B cell was able to recognize, no, the particular virus because that particular virus appeared during that time. Ngayon, may bagong strain na naman ng virus. So, ibig sabihin, there was a particular cell, no, which recognized the particular virus. So, it means, even if we have viruses in the future, because viruses, they mutate, no? Even if, no, the viruses are not yet here, we already have cells, no, which can recognize them so that the body can be protected, so that the immune system can develop. Okay? So, yun, no? Kaya, global warming has a very, depending on the organism, usually it has a negative impact on the development of diseases, na because increase in the temperature actually causes the development, the mutation, the appearance of other viruses. Kaya yung ibang mga sakit, ngayon lang sila lumalabas. Nung unang panahon, wala naman yan. Pero ngayon, andito na sila. Okay? So, yun, na? Okay. So, under the specific defenses, we have the antibody-mediated immunity and the cell-mediated immunity. Before we continue, how do you define immunity? When do you say that you're already immune to a particular disease? Paano mo masasabing immune ka na? Yes?
Your body does not react to the virus.
Okay, the body, it's actually...
I mean, it's parang ano po.
It's not affected.
Hindi na po affected po.
So the body still reacts, but the body is not anymore affected by the disease now and in the future. Okay? Sabihin, hindi ka na tinatalaban ng sakit na yon kasi immune ka na doon, no? Now, there are two types of immunities. You have the antibody-mediated immunity. So it means the immunity of the person is because of the work of the antibodies. It's not because of the work of the cells. Sabihin, the presence of the antibody makes us immune. Okay? Now, in cell-mediated immunity, it's actually the actual works of our cells, especially our T cells. Okay, they are responsible for our immunity. So it means we have T cells fighting the pathogen, making us immune. At tulong sila, no? So antibody-mediated immunity is the work of the B cells, and cell-mediated immunity is the work of the T cells. Okay? Well, let's try to see what happens, no? So it says here B cells and antibody-mediated immunity. So it says here clonal selection model as it applies to the T cells. Okay? So you have here hypothetical examples of antigens. Ay sabi natin, antigens are antibody generators. Because once detected, they cause the generation or production of antibodies which fight them. Okay? So you have here, halimbawa this is COVID-19, coronavirus, no? The coronavirus. So which B cell will be activated to undergo clonal expansion? Is it B cell 1, B cell 2, or B cell 3? You try to see their BCRs. So which will be activated by the antigen? Is it is it B cell 1, B cell 2, or B cell 3? Alin kaya sa tatlo?
B cell 1.
O B cell 1, because you try to see the surface of the receptor. The surfaces are said to be complementary to the shape of the antigen. Of course, it's only a representation, but in the real world, ganun talaga, no? The receptor of the cell, the surface of the receptor complements that of the surface of the antigen. Okay? So ito. So it means in antigen-mediated immunity, in antibody-mediated immunity rather, it's the antigen that chooses which of the B cell will be activated. Okay? It's not the other way around. It's not the B cell, no, which chooses which antigen. It's the antigen which chooses which B cell will be activated. Okay? So in this case, the antigen will be recognized by this B cell, and because of the effects of the cytokines secreted by the helper T cells, this cell now would undergo clonal expansion or proliferation. This would undergo mitosis, no, and divide a number of times to produce clones. Okay, so most of the clones would mature to become plasma cells, and the plasma cells, they are the ones releasing the antibodies. Okay, and if the antibodies are already available, they now bind to the antigen which caused the disease in the first place, thereby neutralizing the antigen in the body fluid. Okay, and this, remember, the antigen antibody complexes, they can be engulfed by phagocytes, no, by eosinophils, diba? Thereby killing the antigen. Okay, neutralizing antigen. Okay? Now, after, of course, functioning, so after removing the antigen, no, from the body tissues, there is no use anymore for the plasma cells. Okay, they would now have to undergo apoptosis or programmed cell death in order to maintain the natural concentration of lymphocytes in the blood. And of course, diba sabi natin, the body is a sophisticated machine. Why keep extra cells when they are not in need anymore? So the body has to conserve energy so that energy would always be available to a lot of processes happening simultaneously within the body. So kung di sila kailangan, mamamatay sila, magpapakamatay sila, no? So kaya nga sabi, we have to give a heroic salute to our white blood cells because almost all of them, only a small population survives, you know? Almost all of them die after they function. Okay? Imagine this B cell, no? After being produced, after maturation, it dies after it functions. Okay? Now, only a small portion survives, and those are the memory B cells. So satisfying the requirements of specific responses or defenses rather, no? The immune system by way of the B cells can recognize, can respond, and can remember. And what's the purpose of these memory B cells? That's why we are immune to a particular disease, no? So if the same pathogen enters the system the next time around, they will easily be recognized by the memory B cells. The memory B cells, again, no, because of the effects of the cytokines, would undergo clonal expansion, and the process will repeat. They will become, most of them will become plasma cells to produce antibodies. The antibodies, again, will be there to neutralize the antigen. Okay? So, yun. That's why we are immune. Kaya pag nagkasakit tayo, that's the purpose pala of vaccination. Diba? During child, ano ba yun? As early as how many days after birth? 1 day, 2 days ba? We're already given vaccines. Okay, for us to develop antibodies. Kaya kayo, you will become parents in the future. Huwag masyado maalaga sa anak. Hayaan nyo silang maglaro sa labas. Hayaan nyo silang pawisan. Don't be overprotective. Huwag masyadong malinis. Kasi, when the body is exposed to these antigens, so that's the time that the immune system is developing. No? Baka masyadong alagang-alaga, linis na linis. Ay, ayun, madaling magkasakit, lalong sakitin ang mga bata. Okay? You have to introduce a lot of food to them because foods, they contain a lot of allergens and a lot of antigens. So it's a big help, no, that they develop their immune system. Okay? Now, to summarize the B cells, so again, it's the antigen which selects which B cell would undergo clonal expansion and produce more lymphocytes. And again, if the same antigen enters the system, this antigen will be recognized by the memory B cells, which would divide quickly and which would protect the body. Okay? Ayan. So, what are our antibodies? So, we have 5 major antibodies. Okay? So, we have immunoglobulin G or IgG. We have M, A, D, and E. So, you have here the structure. No? So, you might ask, why is it that the shape Y is utilized? Because in your cell and mol bio or in your biomolecules, it's really the conformation of the protein or the antibody. Para siyang Y-shaped. May mga regions yan. And then, the percentage of the antibody in the serum. So, the most numerous are IgG, followed by A, followed by M, followed by D and E. Okay, presence in sites other than blood, connective tissues, and lymphoid organs. It means they are found in the blood, the connective tissues, and the lymphoid organs. Where else? Okay, so IgG is present in the fetal circulation in pregnant women. IgM is a receptor of a B lymphocyte. IgA could be found in body secretions like saliva. Yung laway natin may antigen. Yung tears natin, may antigen din yan. No? Yung milk, that's why breastfeeding is encouraged, no? Because it allows the mother to pass her antigen, her antibody A to the child, especially the first milk or the colostrum, which is very rich in antibodies. Okay? So it's not only because of the quality of the milk, the amount of the milk, but more importantly, the antibodies that are passed from the mother to the child. Okay, IgD is a surface receptor, and IgE is a surface receptor in mast cells and basophils. If you can still recall, a mast cell or a basophil can recognize an antigen. It's because of the IgE bound on its surface. Okay? And of course, functions. Okay, activates phagocytosis, neutralizes antigens, protects the newborn. IgM, so these are the first antibodies that are produced in an initial immune response. Okay? Of course, yung IgA protects the surface of the mucosas. IgD is a receptor to antigens triggering B cell activation. Ito yung kanina, di ba? You have the initial binding of the receptor to the antigen. So that's the receptor. Tapos yung production, it's the IgM. And then IgE, of course, participates in allergy and in allergic reactions and destruction of parasites such as worms. So we should be thankful to our bodies. Parang kung sa sandatahang lakas, sila yung mga bala, sila yung mga kanyon, no, na lumalaban, na pumapatay sa mga intruders. Okay? Okay, so in relation to that, we have differentiation between active and passive immunity. Pag active, it's the person, no, himself or herself who produces his own or her own antibodies. So this is the purpose of vaccination. Like this time, we have already available vaccines for COVID-19. So please don't hesitate to be vaccinated. You are bio students, you should know the importance of immunity. Okay? Kasi there are a lot of us in the internet, in Facebook, yung iba ayaw magpabakuna, kesyo mga ploy daw ng government or Diyos ko po. As a bio student, please lang ha, huwag kayo maniwala sa ganyan. And it's your responsibility to explain to your family the importance of vaccination. Okay? And the advantage is that, of course, if you're the ones producing your own antibodies, no, they are longer lived. Okay? Or this immunity is long-lived. Kaya talagang immune tayo, no? Pag passive, the person is given prepared antibodies. It's short-lived because it's supplied, no? It's supplied because after the antibodies work, wala na sila sa circulation eh, di ba? So breastfeeding is an example of a passive immunity. And it says here, artificial passive immunity is used in the emergency treatment of rabies, measles, tetanus, diphtheria, botulism, or food poisoning, hepatitis A, and snake bites. Okay? Because this can immediately cause death. So there should be an intervention, a very immediate intervention. So kailangan lagyan lahat sila ng antibodies to get rid of the pathogens within the body. Okay? So summary lang, characteristics of B cells. I've mentioned them already. Okay, what about the T cells? Okay? Now, the T cells are responsible for cell-mediated immunity. The cells themselves are the ones killing or fighting the intruder. The difference is that a T cell cannot directly recognize an antigen. The antigen has to be presented by an APC or by an antigen presenting cell. Okay? And earlier, we said that examples of APCs are dendritic cells and the macrophages. Remember the inflammation? No? They were the ones, no, to be first in the site to fight the infection. Okay? And in the presentation, the antigen should be linked to a major histocompatibility complex or MHC. And of course, you have the effects of the cytokines to mobilize, okay, the cells. Okay? So it's clonal expansion as applied to T cells naman. So again, you have three T cells, T cell 1, T cell 2, and T cell 3. And then you have there the antigen that is presented by an APC, in this case, a macrophage. So after engulfing a bacterium, it degrades the bacterium and portions of the bacterium are presented, no, to the T cell. Para bang, ito leftover, ito yung culprit, ito yung pinanggalingan niya. O hanapin mo yung kung nasaan man sila ngayon, no? So, yan. So, remember, again, the T cell cannot directly recognize an antigen. It has to be presented within a groove of a major histocompatibility complex. It's also an antigen. Okay? Kaya nga siya tinatawag na self-antigen. So, take note. Okay. If the antigen is presented in the groove of MHC, Class 1, in your cell and mol bio, di-discuss sila yung mga classes. No? So the T cell becomes a cytotoxic T cell. Paki-off mo na yung audio. Meron tayong manok na tumitilak sa background. Okay. Again, now when the antigen is presented in the groove of an MHC class 2, the T cell becomes a helper T cell. Okay, helper T cell. So take note of this. No? So in this case, yan. So since the antigen is presented on the groove of an MHC class 1, so this is now pala no, recognized by T cell 1. Again, try to take note of the surface of the receptor. Now, the surface is said to be complementary to the antigen, antigen MHC complex. No? So again, because of the cytokine secreted by the helper T cells, okay, this now is selected to undergo clonal expansion. Okay, so again, they undergo cell division, they roam the body, and they now search for the target cell, which now displays the same antigen on the surface of the on its surface. So ikaw pala yon, o ikaw ang target cell ko. So a target cell can be a virus-infected cell or a tumor cell or a cancer cell, or it may be a transplanted tissue cell. Okay? So after targeting the cells, so again, there is no use for the circulating cytotoxic T cells. So again, they undergo apoptosis in order to prevent blood leukemias like lymphomas and leukemias. Okay? So what else? Ayan. So ganun ulit, no? So a cytotoxic T cell is capable of releasing granzymes, okay, that tells the target cell to undergo apoptosis, or perforins forming the membrane attack complex, poking holes and causes necrosis to the target cell. Okay? So that's the work of our T cell. Again, no, in cell-mediated immunity, it's the cells that protect us. It's the T cells, no, that render immunity. I forgot to mention pala, in B cells and antibody-mediated, so it's also called humoral immunity. Okay, what is a humor? A humor is any body fluid. It could be a blood, it could be a CSF, yung cerebrospinal, it could be lymph, it could be body tissues. No? And it's called humoral immunity because the antibodies are found in body fluids. Okay? Yun. I just forgot to mention it. Okay, so types of T cells, again, cytotoxic. They are for our immunity. Now, they attack the cells. The helper T cells, they secrete cytokines that allow the selected T cell to undergo clonal expansion. And of course, the memory T cells. Meron silang memory T cells. So again, no, a very small portion of the population survives, and that's the T cells. Actually, B memory, no? Memory B at saka memory T cells. So again, if the same cell enters the cell, we are immune. Okay? Kaya sinasabi, lahat ng white blood cells, pagkatapos nila magtrabaho, patay sila lahat. All of them die. Only a very small portion survives. No? And those are the memory B and the memory T cells. All the rest, no, they would have to be produced again by the bone marrow. Okay? Kaya sila, laban kung laban, patay kung patay, no, after they function. So summary of the T cells, and again, these are the cells of the specific defenses. No? You have the B cells, which now mature to become plasma cells to produce antibodies, and then you have the memory B cells. Under T cells, you have the cytotoxic T, the helper T, and the memory T. And of course, we have the APCs, or the antigen-presenting cells, the macrophages and the dendritic cells. Okay? So that ends our discussion. So you have questions? So hopefully after the discussion, you would have a greater appreciation of the lymphatic system, especially our white blood cells. No? If not for the white blood cells, we would really perish. Kung wala sila, nako, sa dami ng mga antigen sa paligid, patay tayo agad. Okay, your skin, no? You have to take care of your skin. It's our first line of defense. Okay?
Ma'am,
Yes.
is APC and macrophages the same?
Yeah. APCs are antigen-presenting cells. It's a common term that is used for cells presenting antigens. And examples of APCs are macrophages and dendritic cells.
Ma'am, so yung
Yes.
pong B cells, it does not need the APCs.
Hindi. Kasi they can directly recognize the antigen and they can produce antibodies. Ang kailangan lang yung T cells lang.
B cells lang po, ma'am.
T cells lang. Remember, napaka-fierce ng lymphocytes, no? Natural killer. Tapos yung B cells, yung T cells. Kaya we should be very thankful to them. Kung wala sila, nako, matagal na tayong deads. Any other question?